Hi guys, I'm gonna be reviewing a video called People Really Just Don't Want Kids in 2025.
You cannot look at this and tell me that you don't have baby fever. Nope, no baby fever. In fact, when I look at your baby, I don't see a bundle of joy. I see a fast pass to existential dread.
Really severe depression, and of course, most of these people are also brainwashed. She's probably trying to reproduce, have children in her everyday life, except if she's asexual. You could only say that, if anything, asexual people don't actually want to have children, seeing as they are actually not trying to have children. Whereas most of these people cannot stand their own lives, and they are very severely brainwashed, which is why, even though they are trying to reproduce, they will say, I don't want children.
All right, buckle up. So apparently people really just don't want to have kids. And as a 35-year-old dude without any children...
35? Wow. People are aging terribly today. I thought that he's in his late 40s. If he's 35, that's insane.
I kind of get it. But what do I mean by this? Let's just wait till you see the comments on this one. This is going to really set the tone for the video here.
If money and resources weren't an issue at all, how many children would you want to have? Like, if the only thing you had to worry about is your parental style, your emotional readiness, your support system, and the way you're going to raise the child, etc., how many kids would you want to contribute to this earth?
Money is not a problem anyway. You can very easily get the clothes, food, and everything. And actually, in many countries, such as Germany, all over Europe, you get money for having children. The more children you have, the better off you will be.
For me personally, 2. All right, I do want kids, but I'm also part of...
Yeah, 2 is the new normal, maybe even 1. 40, 50 years ago, 4 was normal. Everybody had 4 children. And 100 years ago, 10 was normal. And really, in nature, it's 15 to 20, if not even more.
The I guess, not the selfishness of it, where, like, it's more of a financial thing, and I also still felt like a kid for a long time.
Yes, the system definitely plays a role in manipulating people into not having children. Because a lot of people believe that it's very expensive. I can tell you from experience, there's nothing cheaper than having children. You really spend nothing on them.
And to some degree, I kind of still do. Like, I'm wearing a red leather jacket. Look at my hair, right? Get it together. But look at some of these comments. This person goes, as a mother of 2, none. 6. This person goes, I want 6. I have 4. I have experienced, and I have experienced life. I would say 0. None. If money...
It's interesting because I have never seen any actual video of a mother or a father coming out saying, I don't like my children. I regret having my children. It could be real comments. It could also be people who are anti-human and make these comments. There's a lot of agencies out there also who have people working and their job is to actually leave comments online for specific agendas. That's a real thing. That's documented.
And resources aren't an issue. I'm not wasting it on kids. Still none.
Yeah, all of this stuff you can only say when you don't have children. Once you do, it changes everything. And the woman at the start, for example, it was a response to another woman who had a baby, and she said, how can you not have a baby fever? The thing is that you shouldn't necessarily have baby fever when you look at somebody else's child. Why would you necessarily? It's possible if you have the baby next to you in real life. If your sister has a child, maybe it will influence you. But overall, especially online, seeing somebody else's baby, children, it doesn't really do anything because in nature, there's no thinking about it. That's how it is for all animals. You reproduce, and then children are the result. And then when you have the children, you understand, oh wow, that was actually the purpose of it, and I'm so happy that I did it. Nowadays, people protect themselves against children, have a fake intimacy, which is them trying to have children, and then they say, I don't want to have children.
dies with me. No. Unlimited money and resources won't save them from the horrors of this world. Straight
Yeah, as I said, just very severe depression. That's what we are dealing with. People who cannot stand their own life. And that's why they don't want to create other versions of themselves to experience a life which to them seems like hell. And in case you haven't seen it, I will link my video called You Are in Hell, which will explain why you feel like you are in hell. Once you get out of hell, you will want to have children automatically because you will realize that this is heaven.
zero. This world is crazy. Dude, a lot of people are just like, no, money and resources isn't the reason I don't want kids. Still zero. Can't think of any good reasons to have kids ever. Dude, this is like, we're going to get deep on this video.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I'm sure that all of them actually really are trying strongly to have children. They are probably addicted to intimacy, and they are trying to reproduce probably every day. Their body, which is them, there's no difference obviously, is just screaming to have children nonstop. What I mean by this is that you saying that you don't want to have children, even though you're trying to reproduce every day, is the same as a vegan saying, I'm gonna eat this Beyond Meat or 3D printed meat, which tastes like meat, but I don't actually want to eat meat. Literally exactly the same thing. You want to have meat, and you also want to have children, of course. That's why you're trying to reproduce. That's why the vegan eats the fake meat, because they want meat so much. Literally exactly the same thing.
Guys, leave how many kids you would have. Mine is 2. I don't want more than 2 kids. As a mother of 1, I would likely say 0. I would be adopting a lot, as many as I could. 0. Money and resources ain't the problem. Dude.
Yeah, but you're also reading comments from people who hate themselves, who go on the video on purpose because they have been brainwashed and they are depressed. So those are the only comments that you will see. People who look up those kind of videos. And if you go on other videos, you will see the opposite.
It just keeps going on and on. 0. None.
Yeah, what else do you expect on such a video? That's the only thing that you should be seeing on there. It's like going on a forum which is full of depressed people, brainwashed ones, who will talk against having children. That's all that you should expect on there.
Fuck you. Kids suck. Dude, it just...
Yeah, and people who say this don't actually have their own children, because when you look at children who are malnourished, their nerves are damaged, they scream all the time, they are sick. Of course, because it's not your own children then anyway. Why would you care about them? It's the same as saying, I love all human beings. You don't even know them. Why would you? It's not as if children are not humans. It's the same thing. Adults, children, what does it matter? It's just not your own family. Once you have your own, it's a whole different story. You're not going to say that to your own children because you're going to love them. So saying that about random children is understandable. When you have your own children, and especially when they are well nourished, can't even be compared to that.
This keeps going. All right, let's get back.
My point is simply that you don't know. You're talking from a place of ignorance. You have no idea. Somebody who doesn't have children cannot say that they don't want to have children. The only people who can say that are people who have children. And I've never seen one human being ever actually say, I don't want to have children, even though I have children, because once you do, you realize that you were wrong to say that. It's always like that. I've never seen an exception to this.
Ask this, though. I just thought that was funny. I came across this and I was like, even if money was, because that's the biggest one.
And to go back to the example of the fake meat, you saying that you don't want to have children is the same as somebody growing up vegetarian. They have never tried meat, and they will say, I don't want to eat meat. It's the same thing, exactly the same, because you never have tried it. You have no idea how it feels like. You have no idea. You're talking from an absolute place of ignorance. What you're saying is something that you have never experienced. Point being, if you don't have children, your opinion about having children is completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You don't know what you're talking about.
For me, is money, right? It just keeps going. This person wants 7. All right, let's fast forward here.
Statistic is 2035, which is essentially tomorrow. There'll be more people 65 and older than 18 and under for the first time in U.S. history.
I watched that video, I was like, oh, whatever, it's just one person. And then I looked it up and...
Show you here. As you can see, over the last decade, the 65 and older population has been growing at a pretty fast rate here. Nearly 4 percentage points since 2010. Our under 18 population is actually shrinking.
So me being the low...
We have OnlyFans and porn everywhere, and that has nothing to do with it. And young women are told to protect themselves against having children. They are pushed into having careers. And it's just all a coincidence. It's just humans themselves deciding not to have children. They are trying to reproduce all the time in their everyday life. At the same time, they put on protection. The men do, or the women take pills not to have children, which they never used to do before. They don't have any children, yet they talk about not wanting to have kids because they have no idea how it is to have kids, because if they had kids, they would never say that. And it's just all a coincidence. Yeah, now in 2025, we are not having that many children. It's just all a coincidence. But when you look around you and what's going on, and you still can't connect the dots, then come on.
I was like, so why aren't we doing it? Not like that. Kind of like that. But why, for the first time in history, is this happening? Well, Gen Zs and millennials can't afford rent. I honestly thought, hey, this can't get much worse.
That has nothing to do with it, because people who are not depressed and brainwashed still have children. If they are on welfare, it still doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with it. It's because you're very, very depressed, because you're living an unnatural life, you're biochemically sick, and for the most part, really, it is just very severe brainwashing. Since you were a child, you were told that you shouldn't be doing it, that it's bad for the earth, for yourself. And if you never experience it, you will just never know. It's the same as I said, you grow up as a vegetarian and you're told that meat is bad for you, it tastes bad. And then you go around saying meat is bad for you, you should not be eating meat. Exactly the same thing. You taste meat, you know that you were lied to. You have children, you know that you were lied to. If you never experience it, you will never know. That's it. That's all that's going on here. Very severe brainwashing. Your thoughts are not your own. And that's hard to admit, I get it. You're watching this video thinking, no, I'm not brainwashed. No, I just decided it for myself. Yeah, keep believing that. Maybe it's easier for you. Then you don't have to admit how weak you are, how controlled your mind is, how easy it was to manipulate you. Yeah, I get it. Denial makes it seem like you're strong when you're actually very weak.
Guess what? It got way worse.
Let's cut to the chase. In a few years, she's going to have an iPad permanently glued to her hands watching unboxing videos of kids
No, what? No need to do that.
playing with toys that you can't afford.
Children don't need toys. Do any children in nature have toys? What children enjoy the most is nature, obviously. Just look at any children. Compare it to them playing with toys and them playing with sand, rocks, sticks, and hunting animals and so on. Just look at their face expressions. In comparison, they basically hate toys.
Meanwhile, you're Googling how to set parental controls for the 100th time. By the age of 10, she's on TikTok. She's learned 37 dances and keeps calling you cringe. You just wanted to ask how her day
Yeah, which is why you shouldn't expose your children to any of that. What's hard about it?
was, but no. She's on TikTok posting a video with the caption, "Point of view, your mom ruins your life daily." Cannot.
Dude, that is kind of crazy to think. Sorry, that chick just keeps going. She's just naming every reason why you shouldn't have kids.
Yeah, and you can see on her face expression that she's very depressed, very unhappy. She's not saying, oh yeah, not having children is bad because of this and that, and look at my life, and I'm really enjoying my life. No, it's like this. Yeah, you shouldn't have children because they will watch TikTok, and you should take advice from me because look at how happy I am. Yeah, come on. Her expressions already tell you that she's wrong.
Look at this and tell me that you don't have baby fever.
I absolutely can, so please get it away from me. There is literally nothing appealing about motherhood and having a child.
Oh my god, so severely brainwashed. Just completely fighting against her own intuition. Man, it's the same as vegans denying that they want to eat meat. Literally the same thing.
You cannot.
It's kind of like the point of life, though.
And you just have to think about it, because this same woman, very likely, seeing as less than 1% of people on Earth are asexual, constantly in everyday life tries to reproduce and at the same time protects herself from it, from having children, just because of brainwashing, even though at the same time she's trying so hard. And if you say, wait, no, I'm just being intimate with somebody because it's fun. Yeah, you're doing what? Your reproductive organs are interacting with the reproductive organs of somebody else. Why? To reproduce. No other reason. To have children. Is there another reason why you do it with your reproductive organs? Literally, no other reason. That's it. And then if you would say, oh, but it's not me who wants that, it's my body, it's my soul, which is outside of my body, which is the real me, or some kind of nonsense. If you would have a really nice piece of steak in front of you, or whatever food you like, then you would say, I like this food, I enjoy it. But when you have sex and you're trying to reproduce, then you say, no, it's not me. But who are you then? When you say that you like the taste of the food, then you're saying that you, your body, which is you, likes the taste, because you're tasting it with your taste buds. Meaning that when you're intimate with somebody and you're trying to reproduce with them, it's you who wants to have children. If you don't get it, then I don't know how else to explain it to you, but the point is that you're simply in denial and you've been brainwashed. You're also possibly depressed on top of that, as I said, and that's why you say that you don't want to have children. In reality, if you're trying to be intimate, you want to have children, just by definition. It's just how it is. You can deny it or live in reality, but that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to have children when you're trying to reproduce. Just because you use plastic or pills not to have children doesn't mean that you don't want to. It's what you're doing when you're trying to reproduce.
I think it's gotten to a point where it's like we have sex for sport, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, basically. Except that there's only still one purpose to it. Yeah.
Birth control, condoms, kids suck. Like sex is just, it's become, you know, the point of it was to have a kid, really.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. The brainwashing, the mind control. They actually made people believe that the purpose of being intimate is something else. And that also has a lot to do with corn. Because, well, that's obvious, not even going to explain it.
And now it's just for fun. But people really don't want kids. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper on that, but just check out some of these comments, some more of them.
Yeah, but this is where he is wrong. All of them want to have children. As I said, otherwise, if you put a nice piece of steak in your mouth, you would have to say that you don't want meat. If you're trying to reproduce and you say you don't want children, it's the same thing. Then you have to eat food and say, I don't want food. Reproducing is having children. It's the same thing. It's the same as a vegan being brainwashed to eat Beyond Meat. They still want meat because it's human nature. Your nature is to eat meat and your nature is to have children. You can only be brainwashed to say that you don't want to eat meat or have children. It's your nature anyway. All that you're doing is going against your nature. That will make you even more miserable.
Like, please stop having kids. Just stop. There's enough of us, I assure you. I guess.
No, that's the thing. How can there be? People don't even account for themselves anymore. 2 people would need to have 2 children to at least account for themselves. And actually more when you look at how many people just randomly die. And especially from modern diseases. But they're not even having 2. So how can we have too many? Just do basic math.
Humans are a plague. We should stop having kids as a species. It's like, what?
Yeah, again, just really anti-human. It's all about hating humans and your own life. That's what it's really about.
That's good. That's good. Write that down. I feel sad for you to have been blessed with the opportunity to procreate. Okay. This was uncalled for. 100% do not have baby fever. Okay, I feel like a lot of us is as you get older. I have kids and I can agree with you. LOL. I'm 41 and never had baby fever. Right, all right, here's the best. 0 baby fever, but I do get puppy fever. But that's also kind of like the puppy thing. It's like you want someone to take care of, you know.
Yeah, wow, so delusional also with the pets. Again, she literally admits that she wants to have children because she wants to nourish and take care of, nurture a child because it's your nature to do it. But then you still say, I want a puppy. No. If you're walking around, especially with a small dog, cats, you literally want to have children. 50-year-old women who become cat ladies who have 10 to 20 cats, they actually want 10 to 20 children, obviously. And if you don't get it, you're in denial. And as I said, you're really weak if you're still in denial because you really cannot admit reality. Because when you're 50 already and it's basically over as far as having children goes, it's super hard to admit it. How can you even? When you're 30, you could maybe still admit it because you can still have children. When you're 50, it's so hard to admit that you were wrong because you cannot go back anymore. I get it. Most of them will probably never admit it. They will just keep hating human beings.
It's like your instinct. So for me, I know I want kids, but I'm still in that stage where I'm like, I know once I have a kid, it's not like life is a wrap, but everything's going to change completely.
Yeah, life will only begin then. It's when it actually begins, really. A life without children is no life. Yeah, it's no life. I can say that for sure. I know how it was not having children. It's not as if you're necessarily depressed, miserable, especially if you eat naturally, but it's not the same. You just don't know. It's not really a life. Really, if you don't have children, you're not living. No, it's not a life, for sure. If you don't have children, you never lived a real life. It's just how it is. And again, I get it. The denial kicks in and everything. I get that, but it's the reality.
Let's not bullshit each other here. And I'm sorry if I seem a little bit off. I've been, my father passed away recently, and I keep saying I'm fine. And, you know, I should just get over his death within 3 weeks, but it's not possible. So I'm actually not fine. Taking some time off, but, you know, I've lost both my parents before the age of 35. My mom at 30, dad at 35, out of parents.
That is actually a sort of good point. People are having children way too late today. And of course, people also die very early because of our unnatural diets. Both problems should be fixed. But it's not normal to lose your parents when you're in your 30s. In nature, your parents should die when you're over 100 years old. That's how it always used to be. People lose their parents today 100 years before they should. Think about it. 100 years. That's insane. That's how unnatural our lives are. Really, I'm going to wrap up the video pretty much right here.
And that's something I've really been thinking about lately, was they were great parents, but I don't want to leave my kids like how they did me. They raised me great, but alcoholism, drugs, kind of got selfish as I got older. Not that I need to rely on them in my 30s, but it can fuck with you. So that's another reason why it's like having a kid, I go, man, I know that once a kid comes in here, I will never be selfish like that.
The guy who created this video should try to have children as soon as possible because men also become infertile. Usually women are blamed, but he does not look healthy. He for sure does not look his age, meaning that biologically he's already in his late 40s. Really, in reality, naturally, he's even older. We just look at people who look like they are in their late 40s today, and that's what we see as late 40s. In reality, of course, biologically, naturally, they are even older, because our perception of how somebody looks like who's in their late 40s is wrong. Agnes Wonderplants, as I have mentioned many times, went to the Philippines, to islands where people only ate raw fish and coconuts, and he said that the 70, 80-year-old women there looked like our 40-year-old women. That's how crazy the actual biological age difference is when you compare natural humans to modern slaves.
Got to the tribe, they wouldn't let me into their village, so they brought quite a few of their villagers out to meet me, and of course we had a three-way, translation from their native language to Bisaya to Tagalog to English. So it took time, but I thought I was talking to late 30-year-old women and early 40-year-old women, and these women and men were in their 70s and 80s. Perfect teeth, white, solid. And I said, well, how old do you live? And they said 140, 150 is what we average. And we only have a child every 7 years.
I'm also only basing it on what I see, but in reality, naturally, the guy is probably in his 70s, actually, which I understand is unbelievable, but when you actually realize how young natural humans look like, then you will understand it. But by modern standards, yeah, still really, really bad aging, and his fertility is probably very, very low. Do it as soon as possible. Maybe easier said than done to find an actually so-called stable woman today. I don't know what his situation is, but I'm just giving him good advice here. You shouldn't be waiting any longer. That goes for everybody, and really you should be having children as young as possible. That's something that I really strongly recommend, because realistically you're not going to be as healthy as humans in nature. You're probably going to die sooner than you're supposed to. Not by a lot if you eat raw meat, but you still will because of our environment. But if you want to see your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on, you can still see many generations of yourself, then get busy. Thanks for watching.